Welcome to Quilt Squirrel. My name is Jody, and in this video, I'm learning how to do a new binding technique. And so I recently got this my Woodland Winter quilt back from the quilt shop. They quilted it for me, and they have already squared up the quilt for me. So all that's left for me to do is to put on the binding. So my new technique, I'll move the camera down and show you how I've marked it. And I previously recorded a video showing how I square up a king size quilt, but I can't air that video. I didn't know it at the time, but I was having a wardrobe malfunction. So every time I bent over to cut, my shirt gapped quite a bit. And so I want to keep this PG. So I'm not going to air that video because no one needs to see that. So, but I can recap what I did to square up that quilt. So first, I took my 15-inch ruler and I squared up the corners of the quilt. I did that to all four corners. Then to connect where I cut the corners, I had to straighten up the sides. So I used my 24-inch ruler, and to keep the quilt from sliding off the cutting mat and so it didn't have any kind of drag, I use kettlebells. So I put the 5 pound, the 10 pound, and the big boy, the 15 pound kettlebell. I use these, I would set them on the quilt, I would set them on my ruler. The quilt didn't move, my ruler didn't move, so I got straight cuts, but I can't air that video. But I'm going to attempt to show you how I'm doing this binding. And so normally when I do binding, I use a 2¼ inch strip of fabric. But since this is going to be a wall hanging, I'm doing a 2½ inch strip. So I'm sewing the binding to the front, and then I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to stitch in the ditch all the way around to sew the binding on. The king size quilt, I'm going to use 2¼ sew it to the front, flip it to the back, and I will hand sew the back of the binding down. So that's the difference of what I'm doing between the two. So the tools I'm using for the new method I'm learning is a chalk pencil, or I guess it's a chalk pencil. It's got white lead because I got black fabric, so I needed something I could see. And I'm using my 6½ inch ruler. And to make everything more exciting, I am playing bobbin chicken. I'm down about less than half of a bobbin, just a little bit. So I'm hoping to finish this before my bobbin runs out because it's a double header today. I am also playing spool chicken. My spool, I don't know if you can see it, is almost empty. So it's going to be exciting. And I don't have any more black thread, so it's more important that I win at spool chicken than I do at the bobbin chicken. Well, I guess it's more important. I don't know. It's exciting, isn't it? So I will move the camera down and I will show you how I have marked this. And I only have one corner left. So I've been practicing on the other three corners, and it didn't turn out too bad. Not too shabby. And there's the back. Not too bad. So I think I'm learning, so we'll see if I can do it now on camera. So let me move the camera down and I'll show you how I marked it. Okay, the first thing I did was I took my two ends, I folded over one side, I put a pin in to make sure that they don't move. Then I took my chalk white lead pencil and I drew a line down the center of one side. So you can see my line, as I hope you can. Then I take my 6.5-inch ruler, and where my thread ends, just below that, I drew a line. And then I take the corner and I line up my 3/4 mark on the ruler, and I lined up the point at the center, and I drew a triangle. So this is what it looks like right now, my marking. So these are my sewing lines. The triangle, the point, is my sewing line. So let me move this out of the way and let's try and sew this thing. So let's see. How do I want to do this? I want to come this way. So hopefully you can see this quilt not in the way, maybe. And let me come from this side. Maybe that'll be a better view. Okay, get this under the foot. Okay. Sew on the line. Backspace here. Okay, I'll come up to the point. Backspace at the point to give it a stronger point. Okay, I'm going to pivot on the other side of the triangle. Sew down the line. Backspace at the end to keep it strong. Cut my threads. And so I want to remove my pin. So what I've done is I have sewn up one side of the point and down the other side. So now you hold your breath and you cut. I'm going to cut where the point is. I'm going to not cut the quilt, but I'm going to cut the binding up to, but not through, my stitching. Then I'm going to maybe about 1/8 an inch away from my stitching, I'm going to cut up and down the other side. So now I have, it looks like a little house. That's what it looks like to me. And then I need to cut off or to blunt the corner just to take the point off. But I didn't cut through my thread. So now, let me get rid of this and get something to help turn it. So I use the plastic part of my old seam ripper. So now I'm going to turn it over. My finger here to help turn it. Put this in to help push the point out. Ooh, it's going to turn out. Okay. Oh, this is cool. So now I have my front. Let me pull this around. So I have my front that is mitered and sewn. I have the back is mitered and sewn. So now all I got to do is fold this over on the corner and stitch in the ditch. So let me change the foot on my machine to a zipper foot. That way I can get into and close to the binding on the front. And let's play bobbin and spool chicken. So hang with me. The quilt is done. So here is the finished product. So I have my corners. Oops, thread. My quarters are all sewn, and the backing or the back of the binding has been sewn down. So yeah, I stitched in the ditch all the way around. I almost lost the camera at one point, but yeah, I'm so proud of this quilt. And I love the quilting that they did. It looks almost like snowflakes with wind blowing through it. Love it. And I'm so proud of myself for piecing these birds together and fussy cutting eyeballs for all of the birds so they can all see. So love it. So the next time I see this quilt after I take it today, they are going to hang it up. Can't wait to see it. I've never had anything of mine hung up anywhere, so I'm excited. So thanks for sticking with me, and no wardrobe malfunction, and I won with bobbin chicken and spool chicken. So it's a good day. So thanks for sticking with me. See you next time. Stay safe. Bye.